Hello. Today we're going to talk about self love. But before doing that, let's start just like we do with the other videos. We're going to be doing this in the channel, so I invite you to join to the breath first so we can calm down the mind. And as the mind calms down, we are able to open to the information that is being shared here, and we're able to perceive it in a deeper level, not just at the level of the mind where there will be a lot of judgment and questions and confusion, and all of that is going on in the level of the mind. But if we relax the nervous system and we go to that deeper place within ourselves, then it's going to be much easier and natural to understand and to receive the message. So, to do that, let's start by simply closing your eyes and being aware of your breath. You can always imagine that there is a cup in your lower belly that is being filled with light every time you breathe in, and that light goes out of you every time you breathe out. This visualization is going to help you to remain focused and center your attention in the breath, and it's going to help you relax. Another thing that I like to do is to add some sound to the meditation, to this little exercise of relaxation. So, without judgment, let any sound come out of your mouth. And I like to use the sound A. So it creates like a resonant field that helps to create a space, that helps us to feel the sense of spaciousness inside. It's also possible to do it with the mantra Om. All of these have the same purpose. Let's do that one more time. Remember, you're not trying to sing or to have a perfect sound. You're simply opening your body to the vibrations of sound that are going to create this spaciousness feeling inside of you. Now we can begin to open our eyes and being aware of what's around us and trying to keep this center, this feeling inside of the body, feeling of the inner body. That's going to help us to not go to the usual chatter of the mind. Let's talk now about self-love. Self-love really means to love everything, because everything is yourself. But as we make progress on our spiritual journey, which is really our life's journey, you could say that I'm not in a spiritual journey, but you are living, so you are. So it's really self-love. Is the cornerstone of our lives. Without it, life is gonna be pretty hard, and we will try to justify all situations that we're going through by blaming others, by projecting all our pain, all our discomfort and frustration. We're gonna try to find who is to blame for that, who is guilty for that. So we are gonna find people around us that are gonna be the perfect candidates for charging, for carrying that that badge of being guilty of everything that's going wrong with us. So this is the first stage, and it's when we are still very unconscious of everything that's really going on. So we are in this victim mentality, and we are projecting onto the world, or even projecting onto God or some other it could be like inner force that's apparently making us suffer, like it is God that wants me to go through this trial so I become stronger, and that's just an excuse. There are so many of these traps, and also it's you might not believe in God, but maybe you believe in higher self, or a universe, or whatever you prefer to call it, like a higher power. We oftentimes blame that higher power for everything that's going wrong in our lives. So the way to heal all this perception, all this pain, all this frustration is through self-love, self-forgiveness, self-compassion, and that will go both ways. It will go inside and it will go outside. It will be extended outside. So where to start? Is it better to start trying to love others, or is it better to go within and try to see what's in there and try to love that? Well, I would say both. And both kind of happen at the same time. When we start doing this process of identifying what's inside, and we start to have the decision to love everything that's in there, it's probably not going to happen on automatic, like just first time that's it, but it's a decision of constantly going there and loving and accepting and embracing everything that's arising inside. And by this I mean all the traps and all the situations of the ego that we experience. Like, for example, I might be perceiving myself as lazy, and I really don't like any type of discipline. So I keep experiencing limitations based with lack of discipline. So the first thing is to be aware of this situation. So you look at it without identifying, at least not as much as usual, with the situation. It is not you, it is a bunch of perceptions, a bunch of conditioning, a bunch of habits that you learn in your experience. So you're just replicating that, and then you're adding judgments to those results and making it worse. So the first thing is to create that space between the results that you're having and yourself. As you start to build this space, and so the first thing is observation, and the second thing is a good meditation practice. And the practice is nothing more than what we just did at the beginning of this video. Is just sitting by yourself and breathing and being aware of your breath, and basically not giving more attention to your thoughts, because thoughts are going to continue to be there. But that's not a problem. It's okay. It's perfectly okay to have them there. At some point they might go away or they might not. It doesn't matter. So it's just being aware of that, and that starts to create the space between you and what's happening in your life, and your beliefs and your thoughts and your habits. You start to create that space. So developing that habit of meditation is going to be very, very helpful in your journey to self-love. So now you're aware and you have some space between the result, the conditioning, and yourself, because now you start to realize that you are not that, but you are only pure awareness. So by doing this exercise, simply by doing that, being aware and realizing who you are, naturally you will start to fall in love with yourself regardless of any circumstance. And this is amazing. It feels like a miracle. I would say it's a miracle because it's really effortless. As long as you are aware, you remain aware and you remain distant to that, then you will be able, at some point you will be able to say like, oh, I no longer want to experience those results. I know who I am. I love myself. And if I'm still experiencing those things, it's okay. I embrace it. I embrace it. So you stop resisting the situation that's going on. You stop resisting that, and then you have your energy back, and then you might be able one day to say, today I feel like I want to work more. I want to be disciplined. Following that example, but this applies to anything. This applies to your own physical appearance, for example. That's a big one in our current society because the conditioning there is so strong, and we are constantly being bombarded with images of perfect beauty and how we should look and all of that stuff. So when we start to create the space and we start to see that that is just conditioning of the collective ego that we have created, so we are able to, just by being aware and having that space, we're able to say, oh, that's not me, that's not me. And we don't need to go in front of the mirror and say, oh, I have a beautiful face, I have a beautiful face, I have, because this, you see, it's still trying to change yourself so you look like whatever image of what beauty is. So as long as you're doing this, you're still creating the resistance, you're still creating the thing that's not going to allow you to feel fully self-love. So the thing is creating this space, rejecting simply by removing your attention from the conditioning and putting your attention where it should be. And it comes natural. I'm not gonna give you the affirmation, the words. It comes natural. The space, it's very, very necessary. Now, I'm gonna share another thing that's like, it's crucial when doing this work. The very first thing is the desire. You have to have a very strong desire of loving yourself. That is the number one thing. If you just are like, oh yeah, I would like to love myself more because I want to be accepted and this and the other, but I'm not willing to really do what it takes. Like, and I know our egos don't think this way, but this is kind of like the feeling that we have, like, oh yeah, that's cool, but as long as it's not really hard for me. And the moment I'm confronted with something, then it's not okay. I'm just gonna go back to whatever it was before. That's the place where most people are, and I was there for a long time, to saying exactly that, like, oh yeah, I want to love myself, but yeah, let's just see how it is, and I'm just gonna do my best. I'm gonna try. You see that word, I'm gonna try. Now, this is a decision. So to be able to take that decision fully, you need to be inflamed by the desire of loving yourself. And let me tell you, when you start experiencing the fruits of loving yourself, then you will think, how on earth I was not doing this before? I was giving this away for a very, very, very small price. The price is just being in my own fear, is just not wanting to open to something bigger. It's just staying in the comfort zone, because self-love is going to, for you to fully embody self-love, it's going to take some moments of being uncomfortable. It's not going to feel great at the beginning, and there's going to be something that is like an indication that you are going in the right direction. You just know it, but it's not going to be all blissful from the beginning. But you will know you're doing the right thing. So going back to the desire element, this is crucial. Like, you need to have a burning desire so you're able to make the decision fully. And let's make a note here. We as human beings, as souls, as spirit, we are able to decide on anything. There is absolutely nothing, no force that is able to makes us do something. We are not effect of anything. We are the cause of life itself. So if you still don't believe this, and I know this is on itself a whole spiritual path, a whole path of awakening, this is one of the things that you might want to start practicing, your own decision power, and refusing to be the victim of any circumstances, because that's just an excuse. There are no circumstances that have power over who you are, over you. Okay, so that said, you have the power to love yourself, and it is something very natural once you start to remove the attention from the things that have given you the conditioning. Let's take a break here. Let's have a moment of breathing to help us assimilate what I'm talking and let any resistance go away. Okay, at least I feel much better. That's why I'm doing it as well. So once you have the desire and it's burning, and you have made the decision, I'm going to tell you that it's almost automatic what follows. And as long as you do your work not to, let's say, reinfect yourself with the conditioning, so it will happen naturally. And even the desire is going to help you not to go to the places where you were getting the belief that you needed to be something else than what you are. The desire will take you there. The desire will tell you it is this way, it is this other way, sign up for this, do this other thing, meditate more, journal, sign up for therapy. I don't know, so many things that can be done. But I don't want you to do any of these things without the clarity and without the firm decision that you are going to love yourself, because it's not going to work if you do it from a place of lack of love. So desire is going to help you, and the other thing is trusting whatever experience is going to come to you as the result of your decision, because this is how the universe works. When we decide something, the universe will give us all the experiences that we are calling to us because of this decision. So we decide to love ourselves, the universe will give us opportunities constantly to practice this so we can embody it. And then we will have the decision of saying, I'm gonna do it even if it's uncomfortable, because it will be, at the beginning it will feel weird. It will feel like, oh, I'm being like an imposter, like this is not who I am, I don't know what I'm doing, and all of these things will try to pop up. But it's okay, let it explode and let it burn, because it's really all of those resistances, all of those habits that you have believed before that are being burned. So if you stick to that, you will start to have more room, and you will start to feel more natural, and eventually it will be like you won't even be able to remember how you were living without this awesome, beautiful, delicious feeling of loving yourself. So trusting everything that happens, it's really very important, because and we need to be aware that these things are going to happen, and when they do, we need to be ready to act and not go back to the fear, to the comfortable zone, to the known zone. So we're going to be stepping into the unknown when we make a decision like this. But this is then when we need to show our courage, when we need to show the desire that we have. That's why it's very important to have like very strong desire, so we're able to pass through the fires of being uncomfortable, so we finally arrive to our destination, which is full embodiment of self-love. And it is a process. Another thing that's essential, and I mentioned this at the beginning, is because I've been talking about the inner work, but we also are going to continue being around other people and interacting with the world. So it is a great practice to start loving everybody as they are, to stop judging others. This is a wonderful practice. Whatever you see, whatever you hear, even if it's something that, you see people in total victim mentality, or you see people doing something wrong, like, offer them compassion. Even in your mind, if you are not talking to them or whatever, just in your mind, offer full compassion. And compassion is not something like, oh, I'm so much better than you, and you, poor thing, like you are doing that, like bad. No, that's not compassion. Compassion is like, if I were in your shoes, I would be doing the exact same thing. I understand you. I get you, brother. I get you, sister. So that's the empathy that you're going to start to develop when you are when you're practicing this. And whatever you see a person that physically it brings something in you that's like maybe some type of resistance, maybe the color of the skin, maybe the shape of the face, maybe the way they speak, maybe the habits they do, their culture, like whatever. We tend to find those things and create huge barriers where there shouldn't be any. So when we look at that, it's just like opening and saying, you're beautiful just as you are, you're perfect just as you are, giving them what you want to give to yourself, because they are yourself. So this is a great practice that you can also do. And if you're consistent with this, it won't take much longer before you start to fall in love deeply with yourself. And the last thing I would mention is compassion to yourself. It's also very important, because the process, as I mentioned, is going to include moments where you will probably fail. In it's not really a failure, but it's really the process of adaptation. So you will feel it, or you will experience it like a failure, like you're failing, like you're not advancing, you're not really loving yourself. So when that happens, don't add more judgment to it, but instead love yourself. Love exactly that. Like, oh, I wasn't able to do this, to speak in front of people because I was terrified. Well, love that, and love yourself for doing that, for being terrified, because it's okay to be terrified. Oh, I was not able to go and say hello to those new people. Oh, perfect. It's okay. I love myself because I was not able to do that. You see, and you start to cultivate this habit of compassion and love for who you are. So I hope this has been helpful. Remember to always do your meditations, your silence time, your breathing time. This is essential. When you are there, you can also, when you start feeling very relaxed, you can also, like planting a seed, you can plant the seed of, I want to love myself. I want to love myself deeply. Universe, God, higher self, whatever you believe in, help me to love myself deeply. And I'm not talking about the power outside of yourself. It's your core essence, your heart. So you talk to your heart, to your core, and you plant the seed of loving yourself, and then you trust and you allow any experience to come, and you are ready and you're courageous to live everything that comes your way. And before you know it, you will be enjoying wild self-love. Thank you very much for listening.